last video I showed you the shifter boot as a template for my hole in the floor, and it's pretty damn close, I think. So we'll go ahead and give it a shot and see what we get. I'll leave a little room for adjustment here and there as needed, but let's throw some sparks. Okay, so got a piece of cardboard up here now, just as a double insurance that the sparks don't hit the windshield, because that's never good. And yeah, safety glasses and gloves, very good things to have when you're using a cutoff wheel. This is a some 25 or 20 to 25 year old 5-speed angle grinder that's just been in the garage, and I got some cutoff wheels for it. So we'll see how she do. Just a pull trigger. Seems to be alright. Hearing protection might be a good idea too, but I don't really have any. Let's see what we got. This thing ain't doing too bad. I love a good death wheel. Death wheels are really helpful tools. So let's try and get the front one cut out. If you ever smell something burning, usually a good time to pause and make sure nothing's on fire. Well, no one said it's going to be pretty. It is a death wheel after all. Just a couple more cuts here to get the corners done. It locked on me. I hate that feature. I don't know why they have it. There we go. Now we got a shifter hole. I hope it's in the right place. I guess I can always kind of move it a little bit if I have to. A little, just from this point it'll be more of a grinding deal than a cutting deal. So by that standard, I can switch from the cutoff disc to the grinding disc and kind of clean it up and make it look nice, and make some adjustments if I have to once we start putting the trans in. It'll be covered by a carpet, a boot, and a plastic bezel anyway. So as long as it fits, I'm happy. So I guess the next thing is actually going to be grinding to clean that up. I'd rather not cut myself on that while I'm crawling around in here, you know, because that would suck. This tool is old. Even though it's made in China, the lock is really good, and the tool is really good. Some of the newer Harbor Freight China death wheels don't have as good of a locking mechanism or a tool. Like the lock will slip and the tool will just bend. And I put that on backwards. It's throwing chunks of flat disc and metal at me. I'd rather not get that in the face. Well, I never claimed to be a smart man, but I think that'll be okay. Well, let's start tearing the column out, pull the dashboard back, get the pedal assembly out, and start on that shit. Might need to end up swapping the dashboard wiring harness as well as the engine wiring harness. Depending on, well, the dashboard would be depending on kind of the steering column connectors, which look like a horrible mess in this thing already. So, and the engine harness, probably because the transmission, the automatic, as you saw, had a speedometer cable that comes up into the back of this dash cluster, and the manual, it's a newer model manual, so it has an electronic speedometer set, so there's no cable. There's a different reverse light, neutral, safety connector, you know, some other shit that I don't have any use for with the manual. And there's no connector joint for, you know, the switch between the two. So I might have to swap the whole powertrain harness and dashboard harnesses to make it work. Because I am using the steering column out of the old truck. Because it has cruise control on the steering wheel. And this, for some reason, also has the cruise control stuff, but no buttons to control it. But either way, we'll probably end up swapping the whole dashboard harnesses to make everything happy together. And the good thing about swapping the engine harnesses, though, is that it'll automatically make this truck OBD2. Since the green 96 truck was OBD2, being a 96. And this one being a 93, it was still OBD1. So that'll be a good upgrade that I wasn't planning to do right now, but it looks like I have to do it right now. But, oh well. It is going to be done eventually. Guess I have to do it now to make the fucking manual work. You know, start pulling dashboards and shit. Well, first thing I'm going to take out is the steering column. It gets a big thing out of the way of the dashboard. And everything else will come out easier after that. Most important tool is your cold snack. This happens to be Alt's Detroit original Detroit lager. Used to be very popular in the 60s, and a couple of awesome dudes brought it back. Delicious. First thing we're going to do is unscrew the tilt adjuster lever. The Quick Chain's quarter hex Milwaukee driver. Excellent for small fasteners and interior screws and such odds and ends. If I recall, these are T20s. That Chrysler likes using Torx bits in their interiors quite often, so that's usually what we'll find. It looks like this thing's been apart before. Oh, didn't even put screws back in here. Man, if I could get a hold of whoever worked on this thing last. That's a Phillips. That's supposed to be a Torx. I mean, made this job a lot easier, but look at that. Really? Come on, guy. I mean, how did you even do that? Whatever. I'm not reusing that stuff anyway. Now I'll put this back in. So I can access more stuff. These dudes literally didn't put any of the screws back in here. That's so stupid. So dumb. Or did they put one in over here? I think they did. Could it be the proper T20? Oh, it is. Holy shit. A real T20 screw still. Factory. It's telling me it wants the dash cluster out first. So we'll go ahead and do that. T20 screws. Once you get the screws out, you get the bezel free. Oh, someone's already pre-broke it for me. I like that. Thanks. I've been talking about how people who worked on this thing before were hacks. And you're probably looking at me like, you're looking like a real fucking hack too. And you're right, I am. But I'm not reusing any of this stuff. If I was actually gonna reuse all this trim and this gauge cluster, you know, I'd be a little more careful. But I'm not reusing it, so it doesn't matter. That should come out. Gauge cluster anyway. Should come out. We have a stupid shifter here. So I guess I gotta get the key and drop the shifter down. Maybe we'll do that later. Yeah, I think we'll do that later, after the column's out. Yeah, this looks similar, but also more butchered. A lot of these old style connectors, a pick is your best friend if you can not stab yourself with it. So let's pull this little push pin out here. Okay. Steering column harness is down. There's a bunch of cut off wires and harnesses and other such bullshit that are zip tied to the steering column down there, so let's go ahead and free those. What a mess. Thanks, Florida man. I really appreciate that. What was this stuff? God, help me understand if I could use that from Vice Grip Garage. Get the 4 mounting stuff, bolts and nuts at the base of it. And then we'll come back up and take the nuts off up here, and it should be able to pull it out. Sometimes a swivel will cause more trouble than it's worth. Without it, you'll never get that bolt. Oh, what did I do last time? Use some 3/8 shit? Probably. These swiveling sockets are great. You don't have to have a big stupid swivel back here and then your normal socket. The socket is the swivel. It's nice and slim. And they have a 1/2 inch to 3/8 reducer. And this ought to get us what we want. Beautiful. So the bottom's unbolted now. And we'll get the column undone from the dashboard now. What size were those? Much smaller than 1/2 inch. 7/16. Don't have one of those in 1/2 inch drive. That's alright, that's why you buy reducers. And for some reason on this side they stack 2 nuts on top of each other. I don't get it. Both of those at once. And get ready to catch it here. There's that side. That'll come down. So I've already disconnected the steering shaft in the engine bay. So let's see if we can get it out. Not really cooperating. Let's see what we got going on. Well, I'm trying to support this back up and get that steering shaft moving. Oh. Well, that's because there's no washers in it. Alright. Oh. Guess I didn't really break anything too bad. That's good. Fuck. That's why those washers were there. Now it ain't gonna go anywhere. I'll try and spread it. There's a seam where the steering shaft splits to go over the shaft of the steering rack. So I'm trying to spread that out and maybe shock it and release the rust. Let's see what we got now. What the hell? Oh, it's moving. We got movement. The strategy totally worked. We got movement in it now. May just have to drive it the rest of the way off. Alright, just barely there now. There it is. Yeah, alright. Snake it out. Yeah. There's the steering column. See what I was talking about? That split. Stuck my pry bar in there and hit the other end of my pry bar with the hammer to try and flex that open and release its grip on the shaft that was inside of it. God, that works nice. Alright, that's out of the way now. We can start doing some more stuff. The steering column really is kind of a big obstacle in the interior here. That deserves a beer though. That's so stupid. Oh, they screwed that in? Come on. Why would you screw in a HVAC duct? That's so dumb. Come on, Billy Steve. You a-hole. Okay. Well, that brake light switch has been hacked all the hell. So is almost everything else in this poor truck. Little tiny Jesus clip. It holds the parking brake release. Okay, now let's try and get this column out of here, or let's try and get this cluster out of here now. Oh, much easier. So that's the same two connectors that the other truck has, only this also has a speedometer cable and a shift position indicator that I'm not using. And some of the gauges in this thing are wonky. I'm not planning on using it anyway, partly because of that and partly because it's an automatic cluster, and this won't be an automatic anymore. Although it does have the better 125 mile-an-hour speedometer, I'll just reuse the 96 factory manual unit. Speedometer cable. Okay, now if I recall from the last truck, I think all I got to do now to rock the dashboard forward is take all loosen the 2 bolts on the sides down here, and then pull all the top bolts out. Well, might be able to rock it forward now to get the pedals out, or at least the brake pedal, and then I can put the clutch and brake assembly back in. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to unhook the brake pedal from the booster. There we go. While I'm down here, I'll get the 4 nuts that hold the pedals on down below. And those are actually also the nuts that hold the master and brake booster in. Line up your dots. Come here. I'm going to get the bolts down at the sides of the dashboard. Those you actually just break loose. You don't take them out. Maybe you saw the dashboard move a little bit when I did that. So now we'll switch to the 1/4 inch. Set the beer on the floor. Now I'll take all the bolts out the top. Well, it looks like the last one's just been drilled straight through. Yes, I did forget the A-pillars. These actually do need to come back without breaking them somehow. Come on. There it goes. Yeah. Okay. Aha. Well, that's slightly different. Now let's do the same thing over there. Aha. What the hell is going on back here? Got it. Now the dash should come forward freely. Yeah. Just like that. A little bit of investigation just because, but now let's remove the brake pedal. I guess just a note, if I was going to remove the dashboard entirely right now, I would disconnect some of the other HVAC, heating, air conditioning wires and such over there. That would actually let me pull it out entirely. Also some odds and ends wires for the door speakers, that kind of thing. Right now, let's just get these this brake pedal out, and we should be good. See some evidence of nesting back there. I might go ahead and clean that out. You know, again, I'd really like to find the last guy that did this shit. I guess I'm going to have to swap wiring harnesses anyway. Okay, beer. Yeah, where do I want to go from here? It would be so exciting to start installing the other parts right now. But I might wait on that. I want to clean out some of the mouse nests and shit behind the dashboard. I guess I might go ahead and swap the harnesses, and I can install parts as I put it back together after swapping the harnesses. That's going to be really boring and tedious. Not that this hasn't been, but I'm not sure if I'll film that yet or not. Might just be something I do off camera and like, oh, hey, look, it works now. Because I'm not sure how entertaining that'll be, and I'm not sure how entertaining I've been today. But if you thought this was entertaining, or you learned something, or I just gave you something to do while you were totally, mindlessly, absolutely bored today, then go ahead and give this video a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, don't do anything, or you can dislike it, I don't care. Totally up to you. But yeah, we'll catch you in the next one where, well, I'm not sure what the next video will be of, but there will be another one. And yeah, we'll see you later.